Fernando tells me that the doors are all sound treated and ready to go. I want to start with the door panel or card itself and kind of go over a couple things to help you understand what we're going to talk about. So the first thing, he added the sound treatment to underneath it. So this is now all more rigid, less vibrations. You'll notice this trim ring right here. This is going to be important. So this is designed to attach to the speaker. So if we look at the factory speaker, you can see here this piece of foam. You can see like right there where that ring is designed to attach to it. So this sits just like that. And what the fast ring is designed to do, finish that off. So fill that gap, just like that piece of foam there is designed to fill that gap between the speaker and the door panel. That's just put that at the back of your head. Now, as far as the sound treatment we went with the Morel sound treatment. So this has foam, butyl, and aluminum. It's much more rigid, makes the door panel super heavy, which is good because it adds weight, makes it less likely to vibrate. Now coming back over to here, we have the Morel sound treatment on the door panel here. So this is aluminum and butyl attached to this. Speaker is screwed in. And like we've been talking about with these brackets, is it going to be shallow enough to put the speaker in? The cool thing is this is rubber. This is a rubber gasket here on the front of this. And when we put the door panel on, we had to do test fitting. Before we put on the fast rings, we always check fitment because we don't want to waste it. It's expensive and it's usually a one-time only use. So what Fernando found is that when the door panel goes on, it actually sits on top of this. So that plastic ring, it attaches right here, and that will do what we're trying to do. We're trying to get all this sound to come through that opening, and it does without the fast ring. So for this install, we actually don't need to use the fast rings because it is coupling with the door already. Some installs you're going to run into that, but what we don't want to do with this on here or a fast ring for that, it's going to either go up here and be too tall or be on the outside and be like useless. The goal here is to get the sound through the hole. That's the most important thing, not to use fast rings. Fernando's gonna pop this door panel on. He's gonna put it together backwards, and we will take a look at the rear door and see how much fun that one is going to be.
The rear speaker is the same as the front. You have one Torx in the handle. You're gonna remove this cover from the second handle, not the whole part. As you see, it's separate. So grab your pry tool, same screws. Don't forget the two in the bottom, and then you start prying out. There you go. Sometimes you need to bring the big one.
And there is our factory speaker. Let's pull it out and go take a look and see what we're going to replace it with. For the rear speakers, we're going to be doing the Maximo Ultra 602 Coax Mark II. So it's a cone that's very similar to the Tempo Ultra that's going up front. Rubber surround, rubber gasket here. The magnet is different. This doesn't have a vented pole piece. It is a little bit smaller. And the voice coil is a conventional size voice coil, unlike the Tempo Ultra. It does still use the cool speaker terminal here that's attached to it as opposed to just the generic one. And it has a little bit smaller tweeter in the center. This is a 19mm tweeter or 0.8 inches. It is a tad bit more efficient. The fronts were 90, this is 91. Ooh, don't get too excited. So the rear speaker is a tad bit different than the front. It has like this weird spade shape to it. But the whole pattern is identical to the front, so you can use the same brackets you're using in the front in the back. And for the most part is identical speaker to the front. Small magnet, full plastic construction. Nothing to get too excited about. This should be a substantial upgrade to it. And with the new speaker in, it is going to sound 100% better. Fernando will get this door panel back on, move on to the next part. We're at that time where I need to figure out where we're gonna put the amplifiers in here. Luckily the two kicker key amps are pretty small, so they don't take up a lot of room, which is good because this truck has almost no room. The seats are pretty low to the floor and there's stuff underneath them. I might be able to fit one underneath the seat, but it seems like a lot of work that, yeah, you gotta get to the keys because you have to put the mic into them and you have to do a lot of work. So putting them in a hard to get spot usually doesn't work. The Ranger does have the BO option, this one does not have it, and that is designed to go back here on the rear firewall. I'm sure that would work. However, there's a more appealing place, which is this area here. It's long and narrow, and it has these cool risers which I can put screws on, and I can run the two keys in lengthwise and fit them right there on the floor. That'll keep them out of the way of the only storage space he has, which is this top area here. That is my plan. I just need to get some tape measure and see how big of a piece I can fit, and then make sure that the keys will fit. In the car, we have about 26 inches, 25 inches. Give it a little take on it. It's about 25 inches, which is cool. That's 2 inches more than we need. Let's see what we got going this way. And we do have 5 inches going that way. 25 by 5 will get us a nice piece of 1/4 inch ABS that we can attach into place, and we can mount our amplifiers on. This looks like the perfect piece. After looking at the back with my amp rack, it became extremely apparent that I needed some more room to work. That means removing the back seat and all the fun. It wasn't that hard to get out. It is heavy. 4 bolts, 2 here, 2 over there, and you do have to remove the center seat bolt here. That's Torx. The reason why I wanted to do it was to figure out how I'm going to attach this down onto here. So there's these, which are interesting because they look like they're nut certs, but they're not threaded. So the thought is that I should be able to thread these. Otherwise, I'll put some nut certs into these and we'll screw it down that way. But I wanted to get an idea of where this was gonna sit on here, and also figure out how I was gonna run the wiring, because this is perfectly flat and I can't just come this way. My thought is I'm gonna actually come up into here and come around, see how this has this bend to it, and then I can bring my wire out and attach it over to here where the factory wiring is, and that'll give me room for my 4 gauge on this side and my mini speaker wires on that side. So the first step is to figure out if I have enough room to add a tap to this and make it a screw hole. I did have enough room to where I could tap these. However, it would have been like an M7, which is strange, and I don't have any M7 hardware, because why would anybody? But the M6 nut cert fits into the holes that are here. So we have our nut cert gun all set and ready to go. And for those of you going, what the heck is he talking about? What is this nut cert thing? What? Okay, so it's this brass fitting here. This tool, this goes in a hole, and then when you squeeze this tool, it shrinks this down, which fills the hole. Inside of it, there's a thread. In this case, this is an M6 thread. Now we'll be able to put an M6 bolt inside of this. We didn't have to drill any holes. We didn't have to use self-tappers. We didn't have to, you know, make it look cheesy. It's just a really clean way of doing an install. So it threads in, and then it threads out. There's a little thread right there. So now I have 2 M6 threads. Perfect. I'm gonna get some M6 hardware and mark where they need to go and drill some holes. Line up a piece where I want it. I made 2 little marks in there. Drill the holes. I'll be right back. Alright, Unibit, put holes in it, pull my screws back out. Now if I've done this right, this should bolt right into place. Yay! Alright, so now I have my amp rack lined up. It'll screw into place. That's good. I don't want these flopping around back here. Let's get over to the bench and start wiring these things up. Figure out where all this stuff is going to go so that I have my holes free. I'll put these back in here so I don't lose them.